Good morning. Welcome one and all to the ongoing and boring episode. Good morning. Welcome one and all to the 15th episode of the ongoing and boring series, the Swahili edition, a monologue. Today we ask the question, what is the role of social media in shaping discussions on social, economic and political justice in our country? We have a great show for you today. It's good morning. So I said good morning sometime back. And on today's topic or session episode, we'll be discussing mainly three things. One, the BBI report. Two, the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. And then three, we'll be talking about the role of social media in shaping this conversation on the impact or role of social media in shaping conversations on social, economic, and political justice. Welcome all. In the advent of technological advancement with the introduction of social media tools like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, we are facing a huge challenge with handling of information. And to this end, we have to ask ourselves the forms of information that we interact with and how they impact our decision making. Social media these are tools that are meant to shape our opinions. They shape our opinions on what we consume and on what we utilize as products and what the decisions we make about our lives. Social media, we cannot run from the fact that social media plays a fundamental role in our being, in who we are. That's why everyone and every day will share about their kids on social media. They'll share about their academic progress. People will share about their new opportunities in traveling, education, and so on. However, this brings a bigger challenge, and two major challenges have been identified due to the growing influence of social media. One, disinformation. Two, misinformation. Disinformation is whereby information is withheld from people or information is provided to people in bits that are not coherent with the truth. Misinformation is whereby misleading information is provided to you so that you can make a misinformed decision. So disinformation and misinformation are two of the biggest challenges of the use of social media in our as tools for decision making. So today, as we discuss the impact of social media in shaping the conversations on social, economic, and political decisions, we will be really centering around what we call the revolution, or a feeling that we need a change in how things are done or how conversations are defined. So the revolution will be. That's why the tagline for this particular stream is the revolution shall be tweeted or tagged. Is it true that the revolution will be tweeted and tagged? And will the information that will be provided in our feelings of the revolution be honest and inform us coherently and consistently so that we can make decisions that are properly informed and decisions that are coherent with our expectations? Welcome. One, I've already defined misinformation and disinformation. How do these now relate to our current circumstances? Current circumstances, we are in a situation whereby one, we are facing a pandemic. Two, we are facing, in our country, we are facing a political drive to have a constitutional change. Three, we are facing other global impact problems. These global impact problems include problems such as threats of climate change. We're facing problems such as impacts of extreme poverty. We're facing other bigger challenges. But a revolution that wants to address these challenges will mainly be influenced by what happens on the social media platforms. That's undoubted. These decisions, such as decisions on policy frameworks, decisions on resource allocations, decisions on environmental impact programs, will be made by trends on social media and so on. In Nigeria recently, there was a hashtag EndSARS, that is a police brutality that results from a specific branch of the police force that is supposed to handle crimes. But this particular crime handling agency are agencies that are in non-uniform police officers. It's in almost every country they have a plainclothes police. They have plainclothes police officers, a branch. So in Nigeria, that brought a big issue because they came in and they were interacting with the citizens who are peacefully demonstrating, but they resulted into bigger bigger riots, which even resulted in destruction of properties. The BBI report. A few days ago, the Building Bridges Initiative report by the committee that was mandated to validate was carried out, and so they handed over the report to the president and His Excellency the President, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, and His Excellency former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. The report recommends a number of changes to our constitution and our approach to policy matters that will be discussed in a later section. But I will be asking what will be the role of social media in putting up a proper conversation for this particular report. Will social media be used positively to make sure that people, our citizens, are influenced properly to either support it or not support it? Because it's a decision of the citizenry to make. It's not a decision that can be imposed on them. Some citizens have already made the decision to not support it. Some citizens feel they will support it. Others are on the fence. So will social media be used effectively to ensure that these people who are on the three sides, one on the support, the other one on do not support, and on the fence, are able to make a decision that is properly informed, that is honest, that is from within themselves, and say, now we are supporting this, we are not supporting this. And what will be the role of social media? Two, on the second wave of the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, we know a lot has been said about how resources were utilized in handling the pandemic within our country. We know a lot of resources might have been misused. A lot of resources might have been improperly allocated. And to this end, there is a lack of faith in what the government in the government push to have the citizenry informed on how to take care of themselves. It's even a problem to have people wear masks. We're talking about masks. So it's even becoming a big problem for the government to just inform. Initially, they were imposing it using this police service. Now they are informing us through media. Will we take the message and really be careful on our own health? And then case studies. What has been the impact of social media in previous discussions or in previous conversations? I've cited a number of conversations that have been strongly shaped by social media. One, the 2017 Kenyan general election. It was noted that the Jubilee Party that is currently now in government hired what I might call media goons or media consultants to carry out their social media branding. Their branding includes social media, print media, research on city on campaign materials and campaign effective campaigning. So the French agency Britannica that was hired is the same agency that was also hired by President Donald Trump to carry out a campaign research in the USA in 2016. So we are reaching a point whereby we are now handling some agencies that have carried out branding, and to an extent they have used nearly 50 to 70% of content on social and print media, to a very great extent on social media. They have spread videos. They have established clear plans for how to inform the public through, or campaign to the public through media. But how effective was that? We heard of complaints of these firms that were consulted, or that were contracted using illegal methods of campaigning. Such illegal methods include where personal details such as phone numbers, emails were wrongly extracted from your Facebook or Twitter account and used as a campaign material. So you would receive emails, you can receive texts from people whom you have not given permission to give you that particular information. So you can notice where we are heading to. We're heading to a place whereby we're talking about use of personal information without consent, which is to an extent illegal. Two, I've also mentioned in the case of the United States of America in the 2017 elections, and now they are also headed to the 2020 elections, and there is a big conversation. There is the allegations of hacking and the use of personal information illegally to process campaign ideologies or campaign information. So we are facing quite a big conversation here. We're facing a conversation whereby in the United States of America, threats of hacking by personal emails, where now people receive emails from people you've not given permission to send you email about campaigns. In the US, recently there was the FBI briefing by the Director of National Intelligence, Dr. Radcliffe, who said that they were afraid that hackers from Iran, Russia, and China were sending information to voters about how to vote, which is foreign interference in their voting system. In our own environment, in our own case, where we are having big issues with the personal information protections, with people having huge concerns with the program called Huduma Now. Some question, why would we need to give our personal information to a government that already has it? Even if it has to be, if it probably should have been called an information verification process, not a service program. But that is off the topic at the moment. Thirdly, the UN during the campaign against COVID-19 has been very categorical on how people interact with information mainly on social media. They have indicated that there are worries that people might send the wrong information to people when on social media about vaccines, wrong information about medical procedures to undertake, and when the medicine is offered or is finally unveiled, there are threats to its authenticity being questioned through misinformation and disinformation through social media. So this is quite a big conversation that every one of us can get involved, because when it comes to an extent where the UN, the World Health Organizations are giving worries of how effective their own implementation of health programs will be due to decisions by malicious individuals to misinform and disinform the public, it worries a lot because it might end up causing death of lives among other issues. The disinformation and misinformation about the COVID-19 pandemic was also huge. Even in the beginning, there was the continued branding of the pandemic as a Chinese warfare program. There was the continued use of social media to send out the mentality that this this coronavirus is a weapon of mass destruction. I interacted with that several. There have also been other allegations that we must, as citizens or members of the public, be very careful about, because threatening your own life by use of the wrong information might even threaten your own life. How you interact with information might threaten your life, might threaten the life of someone you love, might threaten the lives of your members of your community. And we know that information is power. But with the wrong information, you might be powerless. What we recommend, what we recommend at Soul Edition is one, verify. Make sure that you share only content that you've checked and you've verified. The sources of information that you interact with must be authenticized. Make sure it's authentic. Facebook, Twitter have and Instagram and all the social media platforms have made efforts to make sure that they can only allow content that is authentic. They authenticate platforms mainly for big organizations, the World Health Organization, the UN, government organizations, media platforms. So they authenticate those organizations by giving them the blue tick. So it's important that as an individual, you make an effort to interact with the content from the verified accounts. And verified accounts does not mean all that information will be true. Another method of verification is use good judgment. Also, interact with yourself. Ask yourself, what will be the impact? What will be the effect of me sharing this out to other people? Will this threaten someone else's life? Will this threaten someone else's income? Will this threaten someone else's family? So it is important that you do not just share, you also take time to verify. While verifying, there are also uh, other authentic sources, books, journals, newspapers. These can be more authentic than information that you just pick from social media. They are licensed and they are allowed to share information. So our verification process can go to that end. It's also important to, as you share your own information on social media platforms, try to create your own information. Be authentic. Share information that reflects you and your opinions, and at all times inform members of the public that that is just your opinion, because information causes emotions. You don't want to use your information to influence the emotions of other people. Then they go out there and do something that is dangerous to themselves and to other members of the community when with your carelessness. So learn to tell your audiences that the information you share is just your opinion, and it does not mean to demean, to mischaracterize individuals. So at Swahili Edition, we really think the new revolution will be tagged and tweeted. But there is the huge threat of misinformation and disinformation. Topics of climate change, topics of ending poverty, topics of ending misogyny, ending racial discrimination, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, Yellow Lives Matter. These topics will best be expounded on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But while they're being expounded on those platforms, our role is to make sure that if we are the ones sharing that information, we make it honest. If we are the ones interacting with that content, we make sure we are verifying and asking someone has his opinion. They are experts in media and social content that can guide. Then remember, our interaction with social media content might be depressing, extremely costly. So it's up to you to also limit how you interact with this content, because the costs will be borne by you. So you interact with content, you are careless with how you interact with it, then you pay the price, and then you have negative impacts that you did not expect. So we encourage everyone out there to be very, very keen and careful on social media content creation, sharing, and verification. I'll go back to the BBI. My opinion, and as we said, opinions matter. The BBI has huge recommendations for each and every citizen in the Republic of Kenya. Huge. However, our country has been built on enthusiasm all our life. In 2002, that is the first election I first interacted with as a human person, because the other ones I was just a nobody. In 2002, we were offered enthusiasm by the Kibaki government, which to an extent was delivered to a certain level. Commissions were established, the ethics and anti-corruption and other commissions that have helped us build the country to this end. In 2002, we thought we had a structure. We thought, yes, we're going to 2002 get the elections done, 2005 have a referendum, get a prime minister, and so on and so forth. It was the conversation of the day then. In 2002, voters who at this end can no longer be my age mates. They are either 10 or 15 years older than me plus. These people voted with some enthusiasm. They knew they were voting in a new generation, not just a new generation for individuals, but a new generation for Kenyans. Back then, we didn't have social media to back most of the things. Either you got into the dailies or you are nowhere. This enthusiasm has been used over and over again. And it's the same enthusiasm that degenerated into anger, bitterness, and violence in 2007. When people are so enthusiastic of a new thing and then they do not get it, people can recoil. And some of these moments, this recoiling can be quite dangerous for all of us. It is not wrong to build enthusiasm in people. It's not wrong to tell people, this is what my government will do for you. But it's also good to be realistic. When your government cannot do it for them, support the government in power to do it, or to do something for citizens. Forget your personal needs. In 2013, we now had devolution, one of the biggest wins for the Kenyan citizens. Devolution means that decisions should be made from the bottom, or what design thinkers call bottoms up approach to problem solving. Solutions are made by the people, for the people, for the people. It does not matter what level of a social category you're in, you make the decisions. That's why we supported devolution. We've not completely we've not completely rolled out devolution, and to this end, devolution has not been effective. But BBI recommends very amazing things. It recommends one, increase in financing to county governments. That's amazing. It recommends two, ensuring that the citizens have access to resources at their closest level. That can be the ward level. It recommends three, a huge perspective for the marginalized groups, the women, the youth, the elderly, And it recommends, among other things, very huge and positive changes. But my question is this just plain out enthusiasm? Is this just plain out enthusiasm? We just being played around so that we can be so happy, dance to Jerusalem, and then all ends there. We have to be honest. The supporting or not supporting the BBI is not a big issue. The problem is this just playing to our enthusiasm, our desire for something new, our desire for a change. I will support only recommendations that enable each and every Kenyan citizen to get the best from their own country and to give the best as per the recommendation on national ethos. But I'll then be very careful on supporting unverified enthusiasm. That is my personal opinion on the BBI. No problem with supporting uh, recommendation that bring about social, economic, and political fairness. But I have a big issue with supporting unverified enthusiasm. And we might notice that in the aftermath of the BBI, we are left to our own causes. We are left to fend for ourselves, like we've always been. We've been downplayed in the county government. We are crying foul already. It might happen with the BBI. Have actually, and then it means that winner takes it all does not work. Why do you need a winner at all? Winner takes it all. This country, or most nations, have been built on people at the top caring about people at the bottom. You cannot tell me a democracy where uh, the winners define the resource allocations and the priorities for their country is untenable. It should be tenable. Everyone should accept that someone at the top is the one in government and is the one making decisions. How do we support them? I'm glad that my friends out there have made their opinions clear. And the biggest opinion here in is read the report. Read the report like some of us have done. And by the way, join in on public forums that Swahili Edition will be partnering. From today, we will be carrying out public input programs where we just want to listen. Here, what is your take? But also, remember, don't allow to be misinformed, disinformed, and manipulated because of the wrong, the wrong political, social, and personal economic gains. Thank you very much.